if you don't protect your identity from day one, then you can't protect anything that happens in the future.
How to protect the privacy and future of our children. The Internet Privacy Guide, Rob Braxman.
Rob
Okay.
Braxman, who's very much into privacy.
Learn what every parent needs to know to protect their children's digital footprint. Thank you so much, Rob, for being here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm super excited because I know that for me in the past, I was like, well, I don't have anything to hide. Who cares? I have all my life in all the profiles, Facebook, Instagram. But now that I'm a mom, I'm so concerned with AI, smartphones, sharing photos. It's like I'm really concerned of the future of our children. So I would love first to know a little bit more about you. I do know, but for people that might not be familiar with you, how you started. Your story is fascinating.
Well, I've been in tech for a very, very long time. I don't want to tell you the number of decades because it'll show my age, but it's a very long time. I founded several companies and some became big, and I no longer am involved with them. I've sold those companies, but my interest in this is because I was involved in healthcare. So I had
Mm.
a healthcare system company, and which I now sold. But that company had access to a lot of private records. And that already brought me to concern. I said, my goodness, I have access to so much information here. And then the government wanted to take more and put into their databases, and people were hacking these hospitals and clinics, clients of mine. And and so I was very, very concerned already about cybersecurity because I was involved with the, hospitals and large clinics. And and then combine that with what the government wanted to do was to take all of your information live. As a doctor is working with you, they're actually taking information live now. And I said, I got to speak up here. And this is what got me to do this because I was kind of retired from my old career. And I said, let me just focus on this because this is important.
Yes, certainly very important. And more than anything, I think most people don't understand what's happening. It seems so complex and so foreign to many of us that we don't know what to do. So, what specific types of digital information that we are sharing about our children today may have an impact in their future and why? Because we don't really know, but I'm sure that you can give us a lot of insight on that.
Right. Well, one of the things that, I worked with some schools, and it bothered me how they
Huh.
are so technically uneducated, and they make some pretty serious mistake that will affect these kids probably forever.
Oh my
And this started my concern about this started around 20 20 2007 when the iPhone first came out and Facebook started to
God.
to come out, and and then they went public. So this was what 2012, 2013, something like that. They went public, and then I realized, that people have shifted. What kids did, but kids were doing in high school and grade school was shocking. One of the things that I remember back in 2012 was the use of Snapchat. That Snapchat was used because kids thought they had secret communications between themselves. So they were passing, these are teenagers, so you can imagine, they're
Mm.
passing information or photos primarily between themselves and thinking there was no consequence because the statement from Snapchat was the photos disappear, except they don't.
Oh,
So
they don't.
no, because one of the things that they said, well, the photos are only there when you hold your finger down, and then it disappears, and then people went and figured out a way around that. It's so easy. So what
Oh,
they did was take a phone. This is a Brex 3 phone, by the way. So they take a phone and then take a picture with another phone.
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
That makes sense.
basic tech stuff that we all know because we are uh, understanding of tech, but these kids did not know that. So one of the things that I teach kids early on is that the internet is permanent.
Mm.
So I have had families put personal information on things like Facebook. There's this family that just concerned me so much because they went on Facebook and basically stated that their daughter was raped in college and discussed it all on
Oh,
Facebook. And the school did not take any action because they didn't feel like there was enough information to make to make that kind of judgment. So they litigated it on Facebook. And so
wow.
this person now has this on record, and this person is now married. And uh, I can just imagine, many years from now when those kids are teenagers, her children, and looking on Facebook and seeing this kind of information out in public, and you can't delete it. That's
Yes.
one of the things on Facebook is you cannot delete anything. So one of the things that I've often told parents is that you really should not give phones to kids below a certain age. And to me, I remember um, families with kids, in 11 years of age, and I have many friends who do this. 11 years of age, and they give them an iPhone,
Oh my
and it's
goodness.
like 11. Okay, these kids don't even know anything about technology, and they just know, oh, I'm going to go on TikTok and Snapchat and all this. And I've witnessed so many scary things on these phones. One up because the parents, of course, give them the phone and don't supervise. Like back in the day, I used to broadcast live streaming on an app called Periscope, and Periscope is supposed to be for 18 and above. And guess what? Kids downloaded Periscope and started to do live streaming at the
Oh
age
my
of
God.
12.
Oh no.
12. Okay. And these are girls many times. And I distinctively remember these girls were being ogled by, people from all over the world, thousands of viewers, and they were saying,
Wow.
take your clothes off, take your clothes off. I mean, they
Oh
were
my goodness.
they were actually starting to do it. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
12. Okay. And now, because they don't know anything.
Of
And the
course.
parents, and here's the funny part, the parents were partying. This is within the yard. The parents were you can hear them in the distance with a group of them having a party
Oh my goodness.
and ignoring the kids and and uh and exposing these kids to apps like this that just not made for kids. And so my rule is this: kids should not be exposed to phones and social media
Perfect.
until you're in middle school, at least. And so much peer pressure that you're not going to be cool if you
Mm,
don't do, social media, and you're not on Instagram, and you're not going to be famous on social media if you do this. And it's like these parents are so screwed up because they were
oh,
born. These are millennial parents now, and they were born during the era of that Snapchat thing I was talking about. To
yeah.
them, this is like their normal, and then they now are slowly realizing that you can't delete it. It's not
Mm,
deletable. Whatever you do, it's there permanently. So it's very hard to be giving this kind of advice because if you don't understand the technology, it just they don't understand the seriousness of it until you start doing things like doxing. Doxing is when somebody goes into the internet and looks for your private information and publicly
oh,
publicly reveals it to the outside world, and
wow.
that is the way you're attacked now. When people are, your enemies or whatever, they will dox you. Now, I'm subject to doxing constantly, but you see, I was always careful about what I put on the internet, so there's very little damage to me that can happen from doxing because what are you going to dox? I only put whatever in the internet that I want you to see. If I don't want you to see it, it's not on the internet.
Right.
So, and kids don't understand that you don't put your real name on social media. You don't go on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and put your real name. You don't do that. Okay, you use an alias. You use a pseudo anonymous name, some other name, a handle, and that's how you protect yourself. Now, the schools themselves are really problematic here. What one of my friends were asking me to protect themselves, or asking for a solution, because the seventh grade teacher had them all make a website. So the kids all
Oh,
made a website, and you know what they asked them to put on their website?
what?
Family history.
Oh my goodness.
So each kid wrote their own family history,
Oh,
not viewed by the parents, by the way. So the kids just wrote whatever they want, and then wrote everything they know about the family history. And some of them wrote, some of the problem with their uncles,
oh.
uncle who went to jail, stuff like that. And
It's so sad.
they put it out there on the website.
Yeah.
Okay. Then years later, they come to me and says, we need to delete that entry made by my kid when she was
Oh.
in seventh grade. And this kid has now graduated college. Still can't remove it. Why? Because the teacher didn't know anything and didn't care, didn't save the passwords, and now they can't go back to the websites. And those websites are just permanently there, and a free website, so it's going to be there forever. And it's not correctable because the internet is permanent. And so here we go,
Oh my.
permanent. And even if you deleted the website, there's something called, archive.org, where every website, there's a history of
I
every
know that
website.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So saying that, by the way, that that's very useful in lawsuits, because uh, uh, I had cases where the website was changed, and then you can prove during lawsuit that no, you changed it because this was the original. This is what it is now.
Exactly.
So you're trying to cheat us,
Oh,
that kind of thing. So you can do things like that, and that's a problem. The internet being permanent. So these schools, here's another thing that schools do. First of all, in many grade schools, they now require them to have Chromebooks. Chromebook needs a Google ID.
oh no.
You can't use a Chromebook with a Google ID, Google Drive, all of that, right? So now they have established, and they put their full name on the Google Chromebook, and then and then they do their homework, like Indian tribe, this, that, stuff that they're supposed to do, right? And then they go research on the Chromebook, and I said to myself, if somebody wanted some sexual predator wanted to attack these kids, all they have to do is make a kid site for education, like Indian tribes and so on, and the kids will go there, and because it is Chromebook, it defaults to location on.
Wow.
And now that Google ID location on, it's just the
Oh,
stupidity of it all. And again, what should have been done if these people were smart is not use Chromebook, because you're forced to go put everything in the cloud. And second, if you had to use Chromebook, because many schools now put um, Google Gmail as the school email. 99% of schools use Gmail for email. They just put the edu at the end, and then you think, oh, it's the school made their own email. They did not. They used Gmail, and now Gmail is your full name, your all that, and all the information they're tracking. And Google tracks the Google ID, which is now, that's what it is. It's called a Google ID, and
wow.
knows every click on the internet from the time you're kids to the time
Oh,
you're adults. And it just goes on and on. And Google being the number one issue here with the Google ID. And then this ties to a lot of privacy issues with the phone identification, and how they identify who owns the phone, and do some more complex technology that track device to device. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And
it is.
people are not aware of any of this.
I
And you
know.
would have solved the problem if the schools were aware of how to manage identities of kids in school. Identity, number one thing. Secondly, to deprive them of social media until they're an adult enough to not do what those 12-year-olds did. I mean, goodness, these kids don't know anything. They don't know anything. And now they're being exposed to sexual predators at the age of 12, and 11, sometimes 10 even.
Yeah.
And these parents are so they're terrible because they give a phone and then they don't supervise and they don't know anything that's happening, and the kids of course are going to experiment, and they say, well, I'm on TikTok, and then they
Oh,
all go on
yeah,
TikTok. Oh, I'm on Snapchat, so they all go on Snapchat, and then they're gonna hide what they do from the parents.
of course.
I mean,
Well,
this is natural stuff.
there are solutions that I know you're gonna share with us, like the Google phone that I purchased from you, but we're gonna talk about that in a moment. And by the way, I know your time is so precious. Whenever you need to cut, just let me know. But I have another question that is
Hmm.
maybe more like we don't realize about it at all, which is as moms, we take a million pictures of our babies when they are
Right.
babies and toddlers,
I
and
forgot about that.
we share it with family. My son is not yet 2 years old, so we
Hmm.
take pictures, and I like to send them to my friends and all of this. But there are two parts to this. Social media, I'm afraid of sharing the
Hmm.
pictures there, but even personally in iPhone, it tags each kid with face recognition
Right. That's
and
right.
location services. So if you could share with us what are the repercussions of this, and if there is any way around this so that we can share it with friends. Does it matter if they have, let's say, they don't have a profile on social media so they cannot be identified, or how this works?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
confusing.
So the main thing, it got worse, of course, because of the iPhone, Apple Intelligence, and Windows Copilot, and the Google Gemini. So these are new things. It's the AI side of things, and that's new.
And
But
iPhone
just
16, which I learned from you.
yeah,
When
yeah,
my
yeah.
friends have iPhone
It's
16, I'm a little
oh
scared
my,
of it.
yeah, and you should be. So the uh the 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 problem with the photos is when you put it in a public site like Facebook or Instagram. And that really is a problem because it's there permanently. And even if you try to delete it, it doesn't actually delete, it deletes what you see. But once it's shared, it's written in the Meta privacy policy. Once it's shared, you lost control. So if you have 1,000 friends and the 1,000 friends saw the pictures, they now have their own copy.
Hmm.
So you say, "Oh, I'm going to delete my account. I'm going to delete everything." So you
Oh,
delete, but it doesn't matter because it's on their timeline.
oh, interesting. Okay.
It's actually written in the Facebook instructions. This is one of the reasons I left Facebook in 2012 because I said I can see now what they're doing. This was before they even talked much about this, and I figured out what their plans were. So Facebook is like the number one evil, and of course Instagram is Facebook. Instagram, Facebook, and Meta. So that's the problem is you post pictures and you're identified because on Facebook you're required to identify yourself with a fixed identity with a photo, um, and you're not allowed to use any name but your real name, validated by email and a phone number. So and it crowdsourced, so you're verified by your classmates, friends, and all that. So it's basically it's kind of like almost a government record what Facebook is. It's like if I needed to find somebody, I'm going to go to Facebook, and if they have a Facebook account, you're in trouble because I can find everything. And even if you start say I'm going to hide my data from my friends, I have a way around all of that. I can find anything. So there's really actually no way to hide anything on Facebook. So once you put it on Facebook and you can't delete it, of course, and you're done. Now, still, I would delete my Facebook account because that's the only solution here. And what it does at least is stop somebody from finding you from your Facebook account. They can find you from the accounts of your friends, but not through the main Facebook account because it won't exist anymore. And when I do that, I manually delete every photo, and that takes forever. It took me three
Oh,
months, I think,
wow.
and
It would take
people
me
now have
10
not,
years.
yeah. Nowadays, people put even more, but back in the day, I deleted 3 months worth, and probably most people now will take years.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But you close your account, then you can come back and delete it and then close the account again. You can do it in pieces. It's just a backup in case, they don't follow whatever they say in the terms of service. So I would still want to delete it, not just close the account. In any case, that is the only protection, is to not be on Facebook, not be on Instagram, not to be on these particular sites. And let me tell you why they're unique. They're not actually as dangerous as some of the other ones, but Facebook and Instagram have your real identity. They have your real name. So let's go, say you go to some other social media site, even YouTube, and you do not put your real name on there. Actually, that's actually, uh, there's not much information you can gather from that.
Hmm.
So that's actually why I'm on social media. I'm very big on YouTube, and I'm on other platforms, limited platform, but not on Facebook, where you're required to have a validated name with an ID.
Hmm.
Now, they don't actually ask you for an ID, as you know. What they ask is your phone number, and then the phone number is attached to your ID, so you're pretty much sucked. And then uh, the ID is attached also to because the phone number can be connected to credit reports, and they can
Oh.
find out the history of everything. And many people use Facebook for buying things, and so they put all their credit card information, and that's tied to your credit reports even more. So so Facebook is very, very dangerous. Now, are other platforms as dangerous? I have found, as long as you don't use your real name and you don't give them a phone number
Okay.
that's your real phone number, then the risk actually goes down, and you use a different email per account. And this is why, I offer those products on my website, because if you have multiple emails with unlimited aliases, you can give a different email to everyone. You can have different phone numbers with Brax Virtual Phone. Um, and of course, have a different phone that. Now, why is this phone unique? This is Brax 3D Google phone. This phone is unique because I did not log into the phone.
Hmm.
When you turn on the phone, you never log in. On a standard phone, you put in your Apple ID or your Google
Right.
ID. On this phone, I didn't do anything. So
Oh.
that alone. And so when I go use the internet, how do they know who it is? Well, they don't. And that's the real key. It's actually that simple. I don't need to get into complicated explanations of why these phones are unique, but there's no Google in here. There's nothing to extract Google. There's nothing to require an ID. So the key word that I'm teaching here, and this really goes to childhood, and to keep it simple for you and brief, is everything is tied to two things: the data that you reveal and your identity. We can't always stop the data that gets revealed, but we can often stop the identity. So if we don't use our real identity, the data is useless.
Hmm.
So unless your identity is in
Right.
the data. But if they don't know who you are, it doesn't matter what you say.
Right. Right.
Okay. And obviously it's a problem with pictures, because pictures have your face. If they can correlate it with some other thing that has your name and the same picture. You can even search that on Google image search. So
That's true. Oh my
you find
goodness.
a
That's
you
true.
find a face, and you say, well, I this is not the real name. Well, you go to Google image search, and they'll find the face on Facebook,
Right. So, for
which will
example,
have your real name.
for our children, like let's say as moms, we have our pictures and we want to share with family and friends. Is there a way to share it? Do we need, if somebody has an iPhone, we need to like delete the tags that iPhone puts?
No, no, although that's a danger, it's if you use iMessage, for example, on an iPhone, and send pictures directly to the people. Okay, that's not as bad
Okay.
as if you put it on social media where it's permanent. So not as bad, and but a little bit worse on it's worse when you have devices that have Apple Intelligence, Microsoft Copilot, and Google Gemini, because what happens is the AI will know you. the AI knows all of your friends and can facially recognize everyone and can really connect everyone. And that's where the danger is. And so the solution, of course, is plan on having a different phone. Like these phones don't have AI. So there's no devices analyzing your life and saying, well, I know everything you're doing. I know all your friends. I know everything that's going on with your life. Uh, so that's a problem because let's say you and extend it outside of yourself. You send your photo to your sister, and your sister has a copy now, and she has an iPhone. The iPhone now connects you because it's all
Mm,
analyzed by the AI, and that's really a long-term danger that I've been warning people because what it's really telling you is with the phone there are no more secrets. Now, obviously, family things are not secrets. So it's less of an issue. I'm not really as concerned about baby pictures being passed on iPhones, but everything you do is on here. Everything, and you cannot hide. So secret communications using Signal and all that, forget that. The iPhone will figure it out
wow.
because the AI can see whatever you're typing on Signal.
Right. So,
So so it's not necessarily about, general pictures of family, but about, family conflicts, family
mhm.
arguments, family secrets, things that, nobody's perfect. Families are not perfect. Things happen. Another litigating thing, uh, two women, one was the original wife and the other one was the uh, the new wife divorced the old one, but this is the more interesting story. So the old wife married the brother,
Oh,
so they're all still connected because they're still part of the same family, and and then of course there's an inheritance to fight over. So
oh,
now you
yeah.
got the wife, the ex-wife, the brother. It's complicated, and you know what they start to do? They start accusing each other of stuff on Facebook.
Oh no.
And I said to myself, that is permanent. So whatever you're arguing about here, this will
Oh,
stain you for the rest of your life.
oh,
And maybe you don't care, maybe you do, but I'm just reminding you that it's permanent and you really should be litigating there. Why don't you argue face to face?
exactly.
So
Nowadays,
that's the kind of stuff that I'm saying. There are no secrets to
yeah.
Apple Intelligence and all this. And so I worry because people don't realize that there are no secrets.
For our babies that we have today, like my son, 2 years old,
Uh-huh.
that I'm maybe sharing some pictures, just maybe WhatsApp, which we know is Meta, so it's maybe
Yeah.
concerning. But maybe I share a little bit of background, what happened today with my family in Spain, things like that. What do you think in the future might have a consequence because of this, especially you coming from a country that maybe it wasn't as free as the US?
Mm-hmm. Uh, Fortunately, you have to divide the information that's taken by the government versus data taken not by the government.
Okay.
So that's a different thing. Because of what you just said, it is true that the U.S. government and the intelligence agencies have everything. You've sent a photo to a friend, they have a copy of that. They got everything. So, Snowden validated this. There's nothing you can send or do or communicate. And now with Apple Intelligence, they can even see encrypted conversations now. So
Wow.
they pretty much have that. However, the countries that are not controlled by the intelligence services, the Five Eyes, they don't have access to that. So,
Mm.
you know, so other countries, and you mentioned Spain. Spain probably doesn't have any technical ability to do anything to you. So, uh, so in that sense, that the government is not a fear in that way. Your fear is more big tech
Okay.
because they can always go to big tech and say,
Mm.
"Big tech, give us the data." And so they do it indirectly. So big tech is actually the problem, meaning any of the big tech, Google, uh, Facebook, Meta in general. I mean, between Google and Facebook alone, I mean, they probably control a big chunk of the information. Google alone probably has 90% of everything that goes on.
Yeah.
Apple has obviously, over 50% of information that happens to people with iPhones, but Google specifically has 100% of all
Mm.
users because everybody uses Google.
Everybody.
And right, so again, there is no way you can protect yourself against that. Many of you will have done too many things already. So the way you protect yourself in the future is what your
My
identity.
children, more than
Identity.
identity. Okay. So even
Protect your
though we
identity.
don't have anything to hide, but it's important to keep in mind these alternatives.
You give you anyone in your family goes to the internet should have an alternate identity, alternate name, even an alternate photo, profile.
Oh,
So something to confuse the issue with when it comes to that, and all of that will help. All of that will help. Obviously, there are basic things like turn off location tracking on phones and so on,
yeah.
but you really can't turn off location tracking on iPhones and Google phones. Only the Google phones can turn off location.
I have mine that I got from you,
Yeah,
and we have
right.
Braxman coming up, the phone. So if you can share a
Yeah,
little
you
bit
you you
about
you
this.
will have this. You will have this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this project is on Indiegogo.com. It's called Brax 3. So this is just about to be shipped in the next couple of weeks. And it's running a privacy OS called IODE, which is another company, because we're going to make this to have multiple operating systems that are supported by multiple companies. So it's not just us. So
So we will put that link in the
yeah, yeah,
description so that
yeah.
people can
And
get.
by the way, IODE OS, which is what we put on here, has a family protection plan.
Oh, that's good.
So you can actually control, what the family sees on the phone.
That's
So they
good to
have a
hear.
subscription for that, and it's a service they offer. So it's actually good for families. So many people have bought like multiple of these for their families because it's cheap, right?
Yeah,
It's only two ninety nine.
we're getting three for just my husband and I. So
Yeah, yeah, it's 299. I mean, and it's a very solid looking phone. I mean, it
yeah,
looks expensive, and it's only 299. So
amazing. Thank you for
yeah,
creating this because, once again, we don't have anything to hide, but we cannot know what AI with the smartphone,
you
face
got to protect
recognition,
yourself.
uh, location services, it's all of these that we just
Right.
don't
And
know how.
your life is long. That things can happen in your life. You don't know what life will bring you. So you always have to protect. I told you, crises happen in life. And if you don't protect your identity from day one, then you can't protect anything that happens in the future.
Yeah, especially for our children, I feel that that's what made me switch and
Yeah.
say enough
Yeah.
is enough.
So again, reminding identity, number one. And of course, don't give it to them until they're older, but uh, teach your kids early on to never put the real name on the internet.
Yeah, and don't let kids have a phone. Yesterday we were in the zoo and a little kid was taking pictures of
Yeah,
people. Just it's
of
like, why?
course. Yeah, it's just you give them real camera. And I suggest people use. I have fancy cameras. I got all these, fancy lenses and
Oh,
everything
nice.
because I believe that if you want good picture, get a real camera
Right,
and
right. That's what they are for.
not a phone. A phone is being sold as a camera. It's not a phone. It's not a camera. It's a phone.
It's a spy in your pocket.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much, Rob. This was great. And by the way, this is just a little excerpt of all the incredible information that Rob has. We have been learning from him for a while now, and it's a lot of information. So I wanted to just show a little bit of it, but go to his channel. He has incredible information with many, many details, and everything is backed up with facts. So it's not like he's making it up. So
No, I
please
don't
go
make it
there.
up. I do not make
Exactly.
things up.
Exactly. It's a very, very good source of information. So thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you, everybody.